Hello, and welcome back to Gloomwood Radio, your home for the strange and the unsettling. I'm your host, Dawson, and I'm so glad you could tune in with me tonight. Before we descend into the darkness, if you enjoy these stories, please consider showing your support. A simple click on the like button, sharing the episode, or hitting subscribe helps the channel immensely. And if you're feeling extra generous, that super thanks button is always appreciated. It's what keeps these broadcasts coming to you from the shadows. All right, let's get to it. Tonight's story comes to us all the way from a listener in Thailand. It's a chilling account of a family road trip that took a terrifying detour. Now, for many of my listeners, some of the cultural beliefs in Thailand might be a bit different from your own. This story involves concepts like protective amulets and making merit for spirits, a Buddhist practice of performing good deeds to help those who are lost or troubled in the afterlife. My advice? Just listen with an open mind. Think of it as a terrifying piece of folklore, a story to be told in the dark. Don't think about it too much. So, turn down the lights and listen close. This one is called The Rains of Last Resort. Our story comes to us from a listener we'll call Alex. This happened to him and his family about 4 years ago. Alex, his mother, his girlfriend Chloe, and his younger sister Mia had to travel to another province for some family business. Their original plan was to leave around 3 or 4 in the morning, aiming to arrive at their destination by noon. But as the night wore on, none of them could sleep. Anxious energy filled the house. So they decided, why wait? Let's just go now. They packed the car and set off around midnight. It was the rainy season in Thailand. A light drizzle was falling when they left their home, but as they got on the highway, the rain stopped. It seemed like they'd have a clear drive ahead. They were wrong. Around 2 a.m., the sky opened up. This wasn't just rain, it was a storm of biblical proportions. The wind howled, and rain lashed against the car so hard it felt like being pelted with gravel. Alex, who was driving, could barely see the road ahead. The car itself was shaking violently against the force of the wind. It was simply too dangerous to continue. He told everyone in the car, "We have to find a place to stop. We can't drive in this." But out on this dark, rural highway at 2 in the morning, there was nothing. Just endless darkness and the deafening roar of the storm. In a moment of sheer desperation, Alex muttered a short prayer under his breath. He said something like, "If any Holy Spirits are listening, please just let us find a hotel, a safe place to wait out this storm." He kept driving slowly, his eyes straining to see through the deluge. And then, not long after, his girlfriend Chloe nudged him. "Look, there, up ahead." Through the sheets of rain, a faint glow appeared. As they got closer, it resolved into a neon sign, with one word burning brightly against the blackness: Hotel. A wave of relief washed over them. It didn't matter what it looked like, it was shelter. Alex signaled and turned off the highway, following the sign down a narrow side road. The road leading from the main sign was long, unusually long. They drove for what felt like ages, the darkness pressing in on either side. 100 meters, 200 meters, 300 meters. It was a deep, dark path. Finally, they saw a small, dimly lit building up ahead, what looked like a reception office. Alex pulled the car up, facing the office, and flashed his headlights a few times. He honked the horn, hoping to get someone's attention. But nothing happened. No lights came on inside. No one came to the door.
The only sound was the relentless drumming of the rain on the car roof. And then it happened. Suddenly, a loud, sharp rapping sound came from the passenger side window. Thwack, thwack! They all jumped, startled. Standing right there, his face pressed against the glass, was a man. He was holding an umbrella, wearing a plaid shirt, and his face was pale and gaunt in the dim light. He gestured for them to roll down the window. Alex was hesitant, but his mother urged him. "Roll it down. Maybe he's staff. He can help us." Alex lowered the window, but only a few inches, just enough to talk. The man in the plaid shirt didn't say a word. He just stood there, rainwater dripping from the brim of his umbrella. "Hi," Alex said, his voice a little shaky. We're looking for a room, just for the night to get out of the storm." The man remained silent. He didn't even look at Alex. Instead, he slowly raised one hand and pointed, not toward the office, but further down the dark road to our right. Then he spoke, his voice flat and empty. "Go down that way. 300 meters. The building is on your left. Park the car there." 300 meters? They had already driven so far in. Another 300 meters into this darkness? But what choice did they have? The storm was still raging, and this was their only option. Alex nodded, rolled up the window, and did as the man said. He turned the car and drove down the even darker, narrower path. And just as the man had said, about 300 meters, they saw faint lights ahead. It was a long, single-story building, like a row of townhouses or an old motel where you could park your car right in front of your room. Rooms 1, 2, 3, they could see the numbers faintly lit. Alex decided to park in room 3. He was in the middle of maneuvering the car, ready to reverse into the spot, when Chloe gasped. "The man in the plaid shirt, he's already there." He wasn't on a bike, he wasn't in a car, he was just there, standing in front of room 1, folding his umbrella, as if he had been waiting for them the entire time. Alex and his family just stared, completely bewildered. How did he get there so fast?
They parked the car and started grabbing their bags. Alex shouted over to the man, "Hey, how much for the room? Do I pay you now?" The man didn't look at them. He stared off into the rain-swept darkness and replied in that same dead voice, "Pay now." A strange feeling, a deep-seated dread began to creep into Alex's mind. Something felt profoundly wrong about this place. On a whim, he grabbed a 500 baht note from his wallet. He told his family to get their things and head towards the room while he went to pay. As he walked towards the man, the feeling of fear intensified. He tried to brush it off, to make small talk. "Wow, this rain is crazy, huh?" he said with a nervous laugh. "We're so lucky we found your hotel. I don't think we would have made it otherwise." The man in the plaid shirt let out a dry, hollow chuckle, a sound like dead leaves skittering across pavement. "Only the ones who can't make it any further end up staying here," he said. Alex froze. What a bizarre, unsettling thing to say. "So, how much is the room?" he stammered. 500. The exact amount Alex was holding. He quickly handed the money to the man, turned, and hurried back to his family without another word. "Mom," he whispered as they reached the door to their room, "that guy is
Weird. He said the strangest thing. "It's okay, honey," his mother said, trying to reassure them all. "We're all together. Let's just get inside and lock the door." His mother was in front, and as she put her hand on the doorknob and pushed the door open, she suddenly stopped, dead in her tracks. She just stood there, frozen in the doorway. "Mom, what is it? What's wrong?" Alex asked. She shook her head, as if waking from a trance. "Oh, nothing. Let's go inside." They all shuffled into the room, a simple, damp space with a single large bed. As they were setting their bags down, Chloe, Alex's girlfriend, spoke to his sister, Mia. "Mia, before you get on the bed, go wash your feet. You walked through all that mud and rain outside." Alex and his mother glanced at each other, confused. At that exact moment, they could both hear the sound of running water from the bathroom. Mia was already in there, washing her hands and feet. So who was Chloe talking to? Chloe herself seemed to catch her mistake, her eyes widening slightly before she fell silent. An awkward, heavy quiet settled over the room. Everyone just sort of knew to drop it. The storm was still howling, and the air in the room was cold and damp. No one felt like showering. After Mia came out of the bathroom, Alex and the others quickly washed up, and they all got into the bed to try to get some sleep. The layout was Mia against the wall, then Alex's mother, then Alex, and finally Chloe on the outside. It was around 3 a.m. Alex had just started to drift off when he was woken by a sound. It was a strained, gasping sound, accompanied by movement. He sat up and saw it was his mother. She was tossing and turning violently, her breath coming in ragged, panicked pants, as if she were trapped in a terrible nightmare. Alex gently shook her. "Mom! Mom! Wake up!" Her eyes flew open, wide with terror. The first words out of her mouth were a frantic whisper. "Alex, get me my Garuda necklace, now!" A Garuda, for those who don't know, is a mythical bird-like creature from Hindu and Buddhist mythology. It's seen as a powerful, divine protector, and amulets bearing its image are worn in Thailand for protection against evil spirits and harm. Alex quickly found the amulet and gave it to his mother, who clutched it tightly and put it on. "Mom, what's wrong? What were you dreaming about?" "Nothing," she insisted, her voice trembling. "It was nothing. I'm fine." The moment she said the word "nothing," a loud noise echoed from the bathroom. Whoosh! It was the sound of the toilet flushing. Everyone in the bed sat up bolt upright. They all heard it, clear as day. Chloe tried to rationalize it. It's probably the room next door," she said, though her voice lacked conviction. "The walls are just thin." But as soon as the words "next door" left her lips, another sound started. The sound of the shower. Not just a drip, but a full blast shower, the water hammering against the tiles. It sounded exactly like someone was in there showering. They were all paralyzed with fear, huddled together on the bed. Finally, Alex's girlfriend, Chloe, trying to be brave, said, "Okay, I'll go check." She got off the bed and slowly, cautiously, walked towards the bathroom door. She flicked on the light, took a deep breath, and pushed the door open. Alex called out to her, "What do you see? What do you see?" she said. Yes, her answer came as a low whisper. Nothing.
And what she described next was utterly terrifying.
She said the moment she opened the door, a wave of warm, humid air washed over her face. The air was thick with steam, and the bathroom mirror was completely fogged over. The shower was off now, but the walls and the shower curtain were wet, dripping, as if someone had just finished their shower and walked right past her out of the room. The hot water heater was on. There was no one there. That was it. That was the last straw. Alex wanted out. "We have to leave, now. I don't care about the storm." But his mother stopped him. "We can't," she pleaded. "Listen to the rain. It's still pouring. It's too dangerous out there. Where would we even go?" She was right. They were trapped. So they did the only thing they could think of. Huddled together in that cold, damp room, they began to pray, chanting Buddhist scriptures and dedicating the merit to whatever unseen entity was with them, hoping to pacify it. After the prayers, a fragile calm settled over them. They went back to bed, lying rigid and awake in the darkness. Eventually, through sheer exhaustion, Alex drifted off to sleep. And he dreamed. In his dream, he was back in the hotel room. What he feared most at that moment wasn't ghosts, but something more tangible: robbers. This was a remote, sketchy place, after all. And in the dream, there was a knock at the door. Knock, knock, knock. Alex got up, went to the door, and opened it. Standing there was the man in the plaid shirt. His hair was long, in the style like a mullet, and his eyes were cold and empty. "I'm not a good person," the man said in the dream. "I'm here to rob you." Alex pleaded with him. "Please don't. We have nothing of value. We're just a family. We only have the car and the 500 baht I already gave you." The man's expression didn't change. "If you have nothing," he said, "I'll kill you." Then the man turned and walked away from the door, down the stairs to where their car was parked. Alex watched in horror as the man opened the car door and started rummaging through our belongings, pulling out bags and valuables. "He's stealing our stuff!" Alex yelled to his family in the dream. "We have to stop him!" They all ran out of the room and chased after the man, who was now running with their things towards the main road. The man glanced back, a fearful look on his face, as if he was scared they'd catch him. He burst out of the hotel's dark entrance road onto the main highway. The moment his feet hit the asphalt, a massive 18-wheeler truck came roaring out of the darkness. There was a sickening crunch of metal and bone. The man's body was thrown, twisted, and broken. His head was severed from his neck, and it went rolling across the wet pavement, coming to a stop right between Alex's feet. Its dead eyes stared right up at him. Alex screamed, and then he woke up. Except he wasn't awake. He was back in the bed. He heard a knock at the door. Knock, knock, knock. He got up, opened it, and there was the man in the plaid shirt. "I'm here to rob you. I'm here to kill you." The man went to the car. They chased him. He ran onto the road. The truck hit him. His head landed at Alex's feet. Over and over, the same horrific nightmare looping 3-4 times. Alex was trapped in it. He started screaming in the dream, "No more! I can't take it anymore! Please, stop!" With that final scream, he felt a shaking sensation. His eyes fluttered open. He was in the hotel bed. His mother was leaning over him, desperately trying to wake him up. She was holding a white string, a sacred thread called a sai sin, and was trying to tie it around his wrist for protection. He had been thrashing and screaming in his sleep. As his vision cleared, he looked at his sister, Mia. Her face was pale, her eyes wide with the same terror he felt. And she whispered, "Alex, the man in the plaid shirt, he was a robber. He was going to kill us." She had had the exact same dream. At that moment, they knew this place was not just haunted, it was profoundly evil. There was no more thought of sleep. They huddled together in the center of the room, wide awake, counting the minutes until sunrise. Finally, around 5 a.m., the storm began to subside. The torrential downpour softened to a light drizzle. It was time to go. They grabbed their bags in a frenzy, not even bothering to pack properly, threw them in the car, and got out of there.
As Alex reversed the car, he looked back at the building. The lights were gone. The building itself looked wrong. It was dilapidated, paint peeling, windows dark and empty. There were no other cars, no other guests. It looked like a ruin that had been abandoned for years. They drove the 300 meters back towards the reception office. But it wasn't an office. It was a collapsed, rotting wooden shack, like an old bus shelter, tilted and falling apart. They didn't stop. They kept driving, another 300 meters back to the main road. As they pulled onto the highway, Chloe looked back at the hotel sign. The bright neon sign from the night before was gone. In its place was a blackened, weather-beaten wooden plank. On it, scrawled crudely in what looked like charcoal, were the faded letters of the hotel's name. They floored it. About a kilometer down the road, they saw the welcoming lights of a 24-hour roadside restaurant and immediately pulled in, needing a safe, normal place to collect themselves. They sat at a table, shaken, and finally started to piece together the night's events. Alex turned to his mother first. "Mom, back at the hotel, when you opened the door to the room, why did you freeze?" His mother took a deep breath. "When I opened the door," she said, her voice barely a whisper, "I saw a woman's back as she walked into the bathroom. I thought she was getting ready to shower. It happened so fast. I stopped, and then you called my name, and I didn't want to scare everyone, so I didn't say anything." Then Alex turned to his girlfriend, Chloe. "What about you, Chloe? When you told Mia to wash her feet, who did you see?" Chloe looked down at the table. "When we first brought our bags in, I saw a woman lying face down on the bed. I thought it was Mia, and I was about to tell her not to put her dirty feet on the bedspread. But then I realized Mia was already in the bathroom, and when I looked back at the bed, there was no one there." As they were sharing these horrifying details, a waiter from the restaurant, who had been waiting patiently to take their order, approached the table. He must have overheard them. "Excuse me," Alex said to him. "The hotel, about a kilometer back that way, down the side road. Do you know it?" The waiter nodded. "Oh, you mean the old Sinsuk Hotel? Yeah, I know it. We just stayed there." The waiter's face went pale. He took a step back. "That's impossible. You're joking, right? That place has been abandoned for 4 years. No one can stay there." He continued, his voice low and serious. "No one goes in there. It's almost a kilometer from the main road, and it was never cheap. It just failed. But that's not the only reason. Something terrible happened there." He told them the story. Years ago, the hotel, which operated as a sort of seedy motel, had a live-in groundskeeper. One night, a woman who was staying there was brutally murdered in one of the rooms. The one who did it was the groundskeeper. I knew the guy. He used to come in here for meals all the time. After the murder, the groundskeeper tried to flee, but as he ran out onto the main highway, right at the entrance to the hotel, he was hit by a truck and killed instantly. "What did he look like?" Alex asked, already knowing the answer.
The waiter's eyes grew distant. He had long hair, kind of a mullet, and he always wore the same thing, a red plaid shirt. Every detail clicked into place. The family sat in stunned silence. They had spent the night in a haunted, abandoned hotel hosted by the ghost of a murderer, reenacting his final moments. The waiter refused to believe them at first, shaking his head and saying, "Don't mess with me, man. I work right here. That's scary stuff." He couldn't fathom that anyone had actually spent the night there and lived to tell the tale. After their meal, Alex and his family continued on their journey, but their first stop was a temple where they made a large offering and prayed for themselves and for the souls trapped in that God-forsaken place. And that's the story of the hotel in the rain. A chilling reminder that sometimes when you're desperate for shelter from the storm, the first place you find might just be the last place you ever want to be. Thank you for listening to Gloomwood Radio. If you have a story of your own you'd like to share, you can submit it via the email in the description below. And please, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you can, hit that super thanks button. It means the world. Until next time, stay safe, and whatever you do, don't stop for the night.